Hi guys, it's April 10th, 2021. I just gotta make a video. Cereal. This is Christmas cereal, even though it's April. They intentionally do this stuff so they can change the timeline. So don't be fooled if they say, look, oh, he's eating a Christmas cereal that's a version that came out at Christmas time. They control production out here. They can make anything at any time. And they have Christmas Captain Crunch cereal that's bigger than the other cereals, so you get more for your money, which is why I bought it, because I'm not a big fan of the cereal. So you almost get two for the price of one at the store here by buying the Christmas cereal. So I have to make a video. This is April 10th, 2021, and this is Captain Crunch Christmas cereal. So don't be fooled by that kind of garbage with the timeline. These clothes I bought this month in April 2021. This, that, and so forth. So I need a new hat, but right now I'm looking at pedals for my guitar, because with the software it's very difficult to play, at least for me, and feel the notes as you play them, like when you have a pedal. Anybody who plays guitar knows what I'm talking about. Every guitar player has their favorite pedal before it goes into the amp or whatever your sound source is. I played at an amp sim before at home in Connecticut with the computer, and you'd have your pedal before it, and it gives you a feel, and it also boosts the signal before it gets to that. So even though these amp sims have like booster pedals in the software, it's not the same because it's coming from within. There's a different feeling. There's nothing you could do about it, as far as I know. Because when your guitar, you plug it into a pedal, then it gets voltage to it, which goes in. Otherwise, you don't have that. So as far as I know, they can't simulate that, as far as I know. So I'm looking into buying a pedal. Which one, I don't know, whether it's a distortion, an overdrive, or just a booster pedal. They all do different things and they sound different. I got to see which ones. Some may fry the unit that I'm using, so I got to be careful. Some actually take more voltage, like 18 volts instead of 9 volts. So I don't know if that would hurt my Apogee Jam Plus. So I have to look into that and stuff like that. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. I played the other night for 2 hours with the software, which is nice. It's not bad. It sounds good. The THU overloud sounds pretty good, but it needs a pedal, at least for me. To play the songs like 85, you need a pedal. You need some kind of boost pedals. Now, I only have the base version. I don't have and I don't want to pay for the other versions and then find out the same thing I already know, that I'm going to need a pedal, because then if I do, I won't be able to buy the pedal. So, unless I choose a cheaper pedal, which is possible, which I haven't made my mind up. So if I buy a cheaper pedal, then I'll have the money and I can maybe upgrade the software, but then find out, oh, the pedals do work. But the current pedals they have, I think it's the SD1, based off the Boss, which is one of the pedals I'm looking at. So it's funny, I may have the pedal and then the software has the pedal as well, so it's kind of funny. But it's different, like I said, because you're putting voltage to it and it goes in. And that's where sound comes from, power. And the pros get the best equipment because it could generate the most power. Unlike the masses, they usually have a toned down version that's not as good, which is just how it is, because everybody can't have everything. So they get more powerful equipment, and the more power you have, the better sound. So that's how nature works for whatever reason. And here in Santa Monica, these are the people who invented this stuff, and they think their gift comes from God, which may be true. The question is what they believe their God is. Let's not get into that. What Catholics believe, but now obviously the gift comes from somewhere, just like my gift comes from somewhere. So for those who don't know, I'm probably the winningest, or definitely one of the winningest baseball players in Milford's history. As far as win percentage, I could be the most. I'm definitely in the top. So that's why they got to cover for that. And you may have sports people on TV cover for it as well. So ESPN and Fox Sports, stuff like that, which is why I mentioned the Fox Sports earlier, which I think that could be their building. I'm not sure. I have no idea. I haven't watched those sports shows, and I never really watched those. My brother Scott watched them all the time, but I never really did. ESPN and stuff like that. I'd watch games occasionally, but that was it. I haven't watched games since, I think, 2009. Like baseball, I haven't watched games regularly since, like, I think 2009 was the last year I watched a lot of games. When the Yankees won the World Series in 2009, I watched most of those games. After they tried killing me in 2007, so I was disabled in Connecticut at home watching those games. Had no clue my family was involved. So, anyway, I guess the reason I was allowed to live in '07 was because there was 3 attempts, I went to the hospital 3 times, so people saw me. And apparently that's one of the reasons I survived, because they were worried who would have known. You know what I mean? If I died. So they thought I would die anyway from the injuries, but I would die at home. That didn't happen. I survived. The only reason I survived is because I was in bed for a long time. I didn't do anything. That first year, it was, if I had to do anything with exertion, I would have died. So that first year was just hell, to say the least. Anyway, and then to find out my family was involved in it. It's disgusting. So those in Connecticut, it took me 10 years to figure out my family. So you have to, anybody with a brain will say, what the F was going on there? I had no idea. It's because they were religious and they're in this, Catholics are all mic'd up. I can't say this enough. So I hope if you watch my videos, you believe it, because if you don't, you're going to find out. Catholics worldwide are all mic'd up. And voice and receiver, transmitter, receiver. I don't know if it happens in their bar mitzvahs that they have when they do it. But those I was friends with in school in like 95, they got it somewhere around 95 to 2000, they got mic'd up. So those who went to school with me, the people I was friends with, they're all in this cult and they're mic'd up. And they got it somewhere in that period. You have to qualify into it. They don't just tell you. So I wasn't a Bible person growing up, why they were, so they knew that. So when they talk to people, they vet them right away. When I say Bible, you have to understand, to them it's sacred. So if you violate the Bible, whether you know it or not, to them you're condemned. I mean, you're in bad shape. So I had no idea that people were gunning for me for years because they thought I violated the Bible and so forth. So anyway, but that's what Catholics believe, or anybody who believes in the Bible. If they believe that book, that's coming from God, you have to be a moron to believe it. But the thing is, free people aren't organized. Free people do not sit down and say that we have to have rules. These are the rules, and then go. It just doesn't work. So what happened was Catholics created a system with the Bible where they say it's coming from God, and that's worked, and that's why this is working. As opposed to free people who, like Married with Children, used to make fun. That's just the show. It made fun of free people. That's the whole point of the show. They used to joke with Al Bundy. He'd do all these jokes. Like, free people follow Hooters and, like, you know what I mean? They joke about that stuff. As they're not organized. All they think about is sex and sports and hitting home runs and what you did in high school, shit like that. So shows like Married with Children would make fun of free people. That's what they were doing. They're Catholics. And high ranking at that, by the way, to get shows like that. And, yeah. I won't say any more about the show, but, yeah. Okay. So that's what TV shows are for, if you didn't know. They're Catholics. And the goal is a one world Catholic system. So many of the shows make fun of free people. But free people think they're just making fun of a segment of free people. Don't realize they're making fun of all of them. They don't think they have any views. They just kind of think they stand in the middle of the road and or their views are, you know, fucked up or not well thought out, or they don't even give a shit, honestly. Just if it gets in their way. Anyway, let me post this video.